I was thinking to myself just before I lit this cigar, like, and I know like this is something I shouldn't even be encouraging to even think about, but at the same time, I just wonder like, what is a headache? Because I feel like a headache is linked to the stomach. Because I didn't receive my headache until my stomach started hurting. Like my stomach started hurting, but I had to get up anyway, and that's when I received the headache. That's when I got a headache. Like before, when I felt some type of way, it's just like when I know people don't care about me or care about like my situation, it's just encouraging you to get up. You know, it's encouraging to do more than you should. But a lot of people don't. It's still stuck in their ways to where they don't care about what you gotta go through. And honestly, it's like dealing with a person that struggle with mental health. You know, you are a victim to society. You are a victim to the world. You know, you are the victim in the world. And I don't care what they say about, don't play victim, don't play the victim card. You are the victim. And don't let nobody else convince you otherwise, especially if you're dealing with family members or just people that don't understand and they don't care to understand. You know, there's a lot of people that don't know or have experience with mental health. They've been around it, but they're so much in denial that they don't care to, address the situation. So then it falls on the kid. You know, if your mom or your dad struggle with mental health, they and then eventually down the line your child is dealing with mental health. How can you care for that child or how can you lead that child if you never care to address your mental health? Your problems, your issues. And no matter how much you try, they don't, you know, they don't care to try. So it's like you're being guided in the wilderness. You're being guided in the woods. You're being guided out in what? You're being guided out. Um, you're being guided, and you have no other choice. It's like a stray animal, you know, a bird that fell from his nest and was abandoned. That's how it is. The problem is the source, the root, and I'm in a position where I was the one that stepped out and got help, or help found me because God knew, God knew that I needed help and that my situation or my living circumstances wouldn't be enough, you know. And that's why I did come to the conclusion that maybe I should give my child up for adoption because I don't want my child receiving the same treatment that I've been treated. I've been the same hand that I've been dealt. And this is the result of that hand. Even though I'm in a whole different situation, I did come out, I did step out and receive help, or help found me. It's just the fact that I'm at a point where I'm not receiving that help no more, you know. And I know it can get to this point, but I don't want it to get to this point for him. When you bring a child into this world, that is your responsibility, that you are accountable for that child, no matter what. You know, you chose to have that child, so you have to be there for that child, regardless if you want to or not. And if you don't, that child is going to resent you. And I feel like it's serious. Like, a lot of people don't care about the situation. They don't care, oh, yeah, you know, I don't care about that child. I had that child, but I don't care about the child. That's going to fall back on you because that child is your blood. That child is your blood. If no one else can care for that child, you are the one that can care for that child because that child came from you. But you are in so much denial, or you've been lost to the point where you don't care to be found even when your child needs you. And that's what kills me about people, because they don't care. I'm not the type of person where I'm going to sit back and let everything happen to my child. It's going to happen to me before it happens to my child. And that's how every parent should be. If that's your child, be there for your child because you brought that child into this world. Be accountable. And if you don't, that child is just going to question. If that child is not yours, you have to be upfront. You have to tell the truth to that child. Because later down the line, that child is going to question and put the puzzle pieces together. And when those puzzle pieces come together, then what? And if they never come together, it's going to be your fault because you were never honest. It's a lot that happened in history. Like, kids go to school. Kids go to school and they learn about history. But it doesn't matter. History doesn't matter. What matters is your own history. You know, your ancestors, what you went through, your family timeline, your family tree. That's what matters. The school starts at home before it's supposed to be public. It starts at home. You need to teach your children. You need to tell the truth. That's all it comes down to, the truth. Be honest. Be open. Because no child should ever have to suffer or strain their mind over the fact that, am I yours or are you mine? It shouldn't come down to that, but it has. And no one can give clarity but that mother or that father. And if they don't give clarity to the situation, then what? You going to take it to your grave and you're not going to care? You're not going to be considerate of the fact of that child? You're not going to be considerate of the life of that child? You're going to leave that on that child's head or on that child's shoulders for the rest of their lives? Life is supposed to be precious. Life is not supposed to be how it's supposed to be, and I'm going to say that over and over and over again. But the fact that it is, the most peace you can give to your children is honesty. That's the most peace you can give to your child, is honesty. But it all comes down to you. It all comes down to if you care. Because if you don't care, then guess what? All that shame falls to that child. Now that child is living a shameful life because you brought that child into this world and didn't care to reveal the truth or give any clarity or peace to the situation. If you don't care about a child, let that child go. Give that child up to somebody that's going to care. Because then you're putting your child in a position of being used and abused by every sibling or every family member that they think is their family member that may not even be their family member. And it's all because of you. When my dad passed, he had something to tell me. And he kept trying to get around to it and get around to it. And to this day, I still wonder, what is it that you had to tell me? And he never got the chance to tell me, but at least he attempted to. It's a lot of parents in this world that don't even attempt. And they die off and they be like, oh, it is what it is. I don't care. I'm going to hell anyway. Keep that same energy. People don't care because they're temporary, and they know that. They know this is a temporary life, and anything that they're holding on to, they don't care because, oh, I'm going to die anyway. Like, what type of mentality is that? What type of mindset is that? What type of person are you? And that's what a lot of people do. That's how a lot of people think. They don't care anyway. It is what it is. Keep that same energy. Like, I really want to cry. Just because I'm fed up. You know, I'm so fed up. And I've been fed up. But the world just has a way of putting you back in a position of going through that pain all over again. Going through that suffering all over again. No matter how much you've healed, the world has the ability to make you suffer all over again without any consideration of what you've been through, because they put you through that. But they don't want to be held accountable. They run and they run and they run and they hide and they hide and they hide, and you just think like, you know, and they just get away with it. And that's what kills me. I'm tired of caring when nobody else cares. But you can't help the fact that you care when you have a child. And that's what I don't get about people. Like, if you have kids, how are you living this way? How are you living the way that you're living? I'm going through the experience myself, and I'm questioning you because you already been through it, but you become the question mark. And that's how a child is going to look at their parent if they're going through it, but you're not showing the same consideration. You're not showing that you care for your child, but I care for my child more than you ever care for me or ever care for your child. What my question mark is the difference. You know, I understand that a lot of people is just like, they got favoritism towards certain children. But when you show no type of consideration or no type of care for a child, you question, am I yours? You know, am I even yours? Because you don't care, but you care for this one. You care for that one. You care for this one. But when it comes down to me, you don't care at all. So am I even yours? And if I'm not, let me know that. Because that lets me know about the situation. That gives me closure towards the situation. And that's what people don't want. They don't want you to have closure. They want to keep playing with your mind, keep stringing you along. They don't want you to have closure. Because as long as you don't have closure, the more of a toll they take on your mind, the more they're nurturing. You're nurturing that seed, that evil seed, that seed that isn't even supposed to be in your soil. That bad seed in the soil is theirs. And as long as they keep having a toll on your mind, you're nurturing and you're watering that seed every time. Who wants to go through a life like this or life like that? And that's what I pray, honestly. You know, my life is a whole prayer in itself.